All right, Tom, so what are we doing?
Yeah, so we're gonna wire our first sensors for our robot.
What are those, the whiskers?
Yeah, so we're gonna do a whisker, and we're also gonna show you how to make a photocell eye for the.
Cool, an eye and a whisker. All right, let's get some of these robots out of the way.
Yeah, it looks like our workspace is a little cluttered. So
maybe move this out, and then let me get this close because we're gonna use it. You've got the wires there. All right, so where do we start? What have we got on the robot?
Yeah, so right now, let me just talk about where the robot is. So we have the basic frame and we have the battery on the back. The battery isn't plugged in right now because we don't want to give power to our circuit while we're building it.
Okay.
We have our voltage regulator and the capacitors associated with it. It's not too important to know how it works exactly, but just that we're getting 9-volt battery into the voltage regulator, and we're getting 3.3 volts out, a regulated voltage.
So the orange wires go from the 3.3 volt output of the regulator to this plus rail that's along and this one, right? So the two plus rails are going to give us 3.3 volts provided that this orange wire is connected to them and then the orange wire on the back.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
So we've used orange wires for all our connections to 3.3 volts and black wires for all our connections to the ground rail.
Okay, cool. So that's this thing. This thing's basically just putting out 3.3 volts if you give it the 9 volts to the battery. Why is this here and what are these volts?
Yeah, so we figured we'd just put this on to show everybody where things are going. So we're not going to actually use this little chip, but this chip has a bunch of amplifiers on it that we'll use later.
Okay, cool. So the chip is an amplifier chip.
Yeah,
okay.
and the chip needs power and negative terminal rails, so we wired those up too.
All right, and where's the whisker? I guess you can't quite see it, can you? There it is.
Okay, so yeah, we also took one of our zip ties and taped the flex sensor to it.
Aha.
So now as you bend this, we are flexing the flex sensor. We have a couple wires attached.
Okay, so this thing should be a variable resistor. Can we just take a quick look on our multimeter?
Sure.
Okay.
So
I'll set that up. So I'm setting the Elvis screen to ohms to act as an ohm meter, and I'm setting it to, I think, if memory serves, a 200 kilo ohm range, and it's somewhere between 18 and 19 kilo ohms, sort of resting. And then what happens when you wiggle it?
okay, and then when I wiggle it, the resistance goes up a little bit.
Okay, so it starts out below 20 kilo ohms, and it seems like when you bend it a bit, it's going to go above 20 kilo ohms.
Yep.
All right, fair enough. That's good for now. All right, so how do we put this thing together? What are we going to do?
Okay, so first things first, why don't we make our first voltage divider? So first I'm going to go ahead and wire in our connection through the plus terminal.
Okay, so one end of our whisker resistor is going into the plus.
That's right. And the other end, we're going to go ahead and put it in row 4 here.
Okay.
Okay, so now we have a connection from 3.3 volts through our flex sensor. And now I have a resistor. This is a 20K ohm resistor.
Chosen probably because the thing is going above and below 20K.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So that's the range we're dealing with. And I'm going to go ahead and put this right here.
Okay.
And notice that I already have this wire going to the minus rail.
Okay, so that's one voltage divider, one half of the Wheatstone bridge.
Exactly. We have a voltage divider from 3.3 volts to ground. So now let's go ahead and wire up the other voltage divider. Now this one consists of two fixed resistors, two fixed 20K resistors. So I'm just going to put one from ground to this row here. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish it up with one last resistor from that node to 3.3 volts.
Okay.
So that completes our Wheatstone bridge.
All right, so why don't we go ahead and put two connections coming out of each of the middle points of the Wheatstone bridge, because I assume that's basically our output, right? The difference, the potential difference across those 2 points.
That's right. Our output is the difference between those nodes. So here's the first voltage division point between our flex sensor and our first fixed resistor.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and put that in there.
Yep.
And then our second division point goes right here between these two resistors that form the second voltage divider. So these will be our output terminals.
Let me take a look. Okay. Awesome. So I'll set up Elvis for voltage measurement, and why don't you connect them? I'll keep holding this thing up.
Okay,
Let's
great.
Take a look as we wiggle it, it's working. So I'm going to set to DC voltage.